Hello everyone, I'm back. I'm Clare Davis from Mental Health Chats, and I'm very, very excited to have Fenella Hemus here with us today. Hello Fenella, how are you?
I'm very good, Claire. I'm very good. Lovely to be here, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And Fenella is our final guest who is talking about how to calm yourself if you have anxiety, which is very, very interesting. And I've seen Fenella talk on a number of occasions, and she's absolutely amazing. And I've taken a lot of her ideas into my own life. So Fenella, would you like to explain to everybody what you actually do?
Okay, I have two strands to my business. I work as a kind of transformation life coach, getting people from really stuck to from where they are to where they want to be, essentially. And a lot of time that's rooted in old behaviors, anxiety, even linking to depression. That's really kind of holding people back in their lives. So yeah, coaching, and I also teach what I coach. I teach the methods I use. I'm an NLP, hypnosis and timeline therapy trainer. And all of those methods I utilize what we're about to talk about.
Excellent, excellent. So why do you do what you do, Fenella? I know you're very passionate, so if you wanted to tell everybody why.
The bottom line is I absolutely have people are amazing. I used to work with children. That's where I kind of started on this journey around wanting people to really being able to fulfill their potential, and recognizing that it was a lot of our behaviors that we've learned from a long time ago, our habits, our experiences in life, even trauma, that kind of hold us back. And because it's all at the unconscious level, we actually don't know why this is going on. And so I work with people to kind of integrate the conscious and unconscious mind so that they can really get in a place where all of that stuff is removed, where they change how they do things in their head and their body, as opposed to why. Not cared, we don't need to go into content, but it's about enabling people to they empower themselves. And once people become empowered and realize how many resources that they have that once were buried under all the other layers of everything else that's happened, that they have more energy, they have more health, and generally they can find joy and happiness and kind of go out and really kind of grab hold of life with both hands and have a happier life themselves, and also all the other people around them. You know, their energy kind of, it's like that ripple effect when you drop a stone in a pond. I think that's the way I like to look at it, having a ripple effect.
Excellent, excellent. I like that term. That's brilliant. And what's been interesting about this series on anxiety is that, we've learned what can cause anxiety, and we've also learned how people can deal with and help themselves with anxiety. But there are some simple methods that people can use every day to help themselves with anxiety. So would you like to run through some of the methods that you use with your clients that people can use every day to help themselves with anxiety?
So the fundamental thing for me is breath.
Yeah.
It seems so simple, but it's free, because our breath affects so much in our physical body, and we can really control our response to any situation by controlling our breath. So I don't know if you want me to kind of give you a technique or just
great, it's up to you. So when you say breath, it's how we breathe.
How we breathe.
Yeah.
We tend to breathe often when we're not thinking. We develop habits and patterns when we breathe. And generally people breathe from high up in their chest, especially if people are feeling stressed a lot of the time and develop a stress pattern. So it's a norm to them, it's a habit. And our body gets habituated into behaviors, and that goes for the patterns in our body. So as well is if people are habitually anxious, if that's, they get triggered, and people know how to we call it in NLP, we call doing anxiety, because it's a pattern. There's a trigger, and then what follows is a response. through the brain, release of hormones, change of the breathing pattern, change in the nervous system, and that then causes a physical response, which it kind of then just perpetuates the mental response and the physical. And so people get into a cycle. And you know, when people are anxious, they can even, you know, go into what's called, you know, into a panic attack, and then their body has really just kind of gone out of it's unsynchronized, and it's kind of, how do you bring your body back into that space where you can actually get your all parts of your brain functioning as well? Because when you're in your anxious thinking brain, it's your limbic, you're in that emotional brain. And so effectively what tends to happen is you disconnect from this thing here, the prefrontal cortex, which is the brain that does that's analytical, that is rational, and kind of we end up reacting rather than responding. So really quickly, and if we just learn to breathe and take a moment to breathe, that's when, or a few moments to breathe, that's when we have a chance for the limbic brain to connect back with the thinking brain and calm down. Okay.
So do you use a number of breathing techniques?
I do use different breathing, and again, I think I use different ones depends on the person. So different ones connect with different people. So there is one which is square breathing, which I know you've talked about before. Clare is the imagining is you inhale for 4, you hold for 4, you exhale for 4, and you pause for 4. And people, you can do this with children. It's kind of like box breathing, or you can do it on the fingers as well.
Yep.
As well. So it's that kind of thing is they've got something to look at when they're going through that breathing process, or you can do it around a door and they can just follow the door shape. And by doing that, it's actually connecting both sides of their brain more as well.
Brilliant.
So the whole process about breathing is what I call it's about coming back to center. It's getting out of here and coming back into your body and making those connections into your body. And we don't have time to go into it now, but it has so much effect on what is physically going on in your body as well. It is so good for our health to learn to breathe effectively.
Shall we do that exercise? I think it might be nice for all the viewers and listeners to do this exercise.
Okay, we could do that one, or we can do another one which is specifically for anxiety, which is called 3-6-5.
Well, let's do that one then.
Okay, yeah, this is specifically a bit more for anxiety. So what we're going to do is, first of all, before we start breathing, I always like people to center themselves. So actually kind of feel that your feet on the floor, so you're kind of getting a bit more grounded, and already you're taking yourself out of your head into your body. And then you just take a couple of normal breaths. Now, what I'm going to encourage people to do is to breathe, is to drop your breath, because you may already breathe from the belly. But if you don't, it's to drop your breath down. So effectively you're breathing from the diaphragm here. Okay, so around that area. I like people to breathe in through their nose and out through their mouth. And there are again reasons for doing this too. I tend to breathe in and out of my nose, but I'm not going to make people do both of those things. So now you've kind of got an idea of where to breathe from and how to breathe in through your nose and out. We'll just do the timing. So you're going to inhale for 3, that's a count of 3. Then I'm going to ask you to hold for 6. And then you're going to exhale for 5. Now this isn't seconds, this is a count. And I'll tell you the reason why of all of the timings afterwards. But let's have a go and see how that feels, okay? So with your permission, and if you're ready, just take a breath. Feel your feet on the floor, take a breath in and exhale fully. Lovely. Okay, now we're going to go. Inhale, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, Inhale, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just one more time. Inhale, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd like to know how everybody is feeling right now.
Can't speak for everyone who's watching or listening, but for myself, that is so calming. It's amazing.
And just need to do 1 or 2 minutes of this. When you begin, you might find it a little bit, if you're feeling a little bit dizzy, that's an indication that you have a tendency to breathe from the chest. So what you can do is slightly decrease the hold and the exhale. You always want to keep those timings so that the inhalation is the shortest. Can I give the reason, explain just a little bit about the reason why we do that?
Yeah, I'm intrigued to know. I was going to ask you.
So when we breathe through our nose, we actually absorb 10 to 15% more oxygen. We're also warming the breath up, so it's kinder on our body. And we're also filtering germs, and we're producing what's called nitrous oxide, which is good for lowering our inflammation. The breath holding momentarily rests our nervous system. So it gives our body a bit of a rest, and it also moves the lymph around. Again, good for reducing inflammation and removing toxins. And then the exhalation balances the carbon dioxide and oxygen in your body, because carbon dioxide, believe it or not, is very important in terms of breathing. So it's about, and that helps again with the oxygen uptake. And so by really slowing our breath down, it enables us to put, we put less strain on the body, we put less strain on the heart and on the blood pressure. And what you're physically doing by slowing your breathing down is you are lowering your blood, you can lower your blood pressure. So what it also does is it activates the what's called the vagus nerve, which is the longest cranial nerve from the head, and it attaches into different organs in the body. And because we spend a lot of time sitting still and not necessarily breathing very effectively, the vagus nerve, it gets a bit, it loses its tone, and so therefore it's not sending nerve impulses around the body effectively. So by breathing again, that stimulates the vagus nerve. So again, it's kind of giving better messages around, we're sending information around our body more effectively. So in that way, our organs are going to communicate more effectively, and they're going to work better. So digestion is going to work better. So again, remembering if you have a tendency to be anxious, you know, it can affect your gut. You can end up with stomach pains. And some people who are quite stressed out, they have what's called IBS, which is a big catch-all there. But if you learn to breathe more effectively, we can breathe away pain, and we can breathe away stress. So just a minute or 2, 3 times a day. And what we'll then learn to do is to actually naturally change our breathing pattern as well. It will become more of a habit to breathe more slowly. It's not that we have to breathe slowly all the time. It's just about when we're at rest, and about learning to be able to just take that step back and go, okay, how am I going to calm myself down now for a minute? I'm just going to breathe. Take that moment to breathe, and then connect it back into my thinking brain, and then I can deal with the situation. Because at the moment, you know, it's so easy to be triggered.
That's amazing advice. Thank you so much, Fenella, for that. And if anyone wants to contact Fenella, what's the best way? Is it via your LinkedIn or your website, Fenella?
You can contact me either LinkedIn's fine, or on my website www.𝗵𝗆𝘆𝗶𝘀𝗁�coaching.co.uk.
I'll be putting that into the comments. So thank you so much. And Fenella is our final guest for our series on anxiety. So next week, Benny's back, and we're going to be talking about some facts and statistics about anxiety. Thank you for the advice. Everybody go away and spend some time on yourself. Slow breathing.
Just
so
breathe.
Now.
Rhythmical and smooth.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.